everybody, hi, welcome back to my creative corner here in my living room, a temporary abode, but it's good enough for now. Welcome back. If it's your first time here, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you for finding me on the internet. I don't know what magic algorithm has brought you here, but I hope you'll stick around to have some fun with fabric and stitch, because that's what it's all about here. I just love playing, messing about and showing you what I'm doing. And maybe if it inspires you to have a go at something, or it expands you into an area that you've not thought of working in before, that's great. I know a lot of you are already very creative and you do all kinds of different things, so do let me know in the comments below what sort of things you like to do, because it's great. I can't speak to you in person, sadly. I can't fit you all in. I couldn't fit you all in my studio, and I definitely can't fit you all in here now. But I hope that this is a place of, peaceful inspiration and a bit of, a little bit of joy in your week when, it's a bit of time for you for a cup of tea and a sit. And there we go. So this is me, as I say, in a corner of my living room. I'm very soon to be moving into my little room. Again, I'm not quite sure exactly how that's going to be. I've got things to move around. I've got to accommodate things that are already in the room, but it's all kind of, I feel like I'm in transition. I don't know about you, but in my life I'm in transition, and in my sort of arty world here I'm in transition, and I'm trying to make the best of what I've got. I've got lots of tidying up and sorting out to do. I've kind of been waiting for this room to be ready, and then I could really do a decent sort out. I'm still going to have a cupboardy place for all my stash, but that's being renovated as well at the moment. We've had so much going on. Honestly, I'm amazed that I'm actually here speaking to you and managing to video something, because it's been quite a week. You know how it is if you have builders or people fixing things in your house. Even though they were doing windows and some new door surrounds, things that have needed attention for quite a while, and it's been wonderful to get things done. I can now see out of my windows again, and we've got rotten door frames replaced. It's just brilliant. But it's amazing, isn't it, how much sort of distraction it creates in your life. And I had to be painting things and fixing things for them, ready to go onto the doors and stuff. So I was using linseed oil and some paint and bits and bobs. And just having people around, isn't it strange? 2 days, that's all it was. But and then other things have been happening as well in my life. But all good, all good. But it is adjusting to it, isn't it? It's these kind of a little wave comes in and wobbles you a little bit, and you have to go, right, okay, what am I doing? Who am I? What can I do today that's going to make a difference? Because sometimes, I'll be honest, some days it's easy, isn't it, just to sit in your seat and just go, well, hang on, I don't feel like doing anything today. Maybe that's okay, and maybe that's all right just to sit and do nothing. Sometimes I do that, 10 minutes twice a day or something. I will sit and just do nothing, because I think it's important to recharge my batteries, and then I've got more to give other people. That's kind of my philosophy these days. But also sometimes I just say, well, what one small thing could I do that will improve things for us in our house, or that will improve things, going out into the world. And I do believe that everything good that you do for yourself goes out into the world in some way, because you feel better, don't you? And then you've got a smile for other people when you meet them in the street and things. So I'm very excited. Thank you for all your lovely comments last week. I think this is quite an interesting piece, and I'm going to get on with it today. I think I'm going to take some of that paper off. I feel somebody suggested that to me, and I just think, yes, it feels like the paper has kind of flattened the surface that I'd made. It's disguised it. I knew it would change it, but I wasn't sure exactly how much. So we'll have a little look and see what we're going to do. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of distressing the surface a little bit, because I felt as though the paper had made it very, very flat, and I didn't want it to be quite so flat, and it had hidden an awful lot of the lovely textures from underneath. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of, you can see, I'm just kind of ripping some of the paper up. So rather than washing more of it off, I'm keeping as much of the paper as I can, but I am distressing the surface of it, and so that I'm getting all these lovely bits coming out, but I'm keeping the paper as well. And you can make it so that it just does lovely kind of ripped, torn edges that stick up a little bit, which I love. I think it's really cool. So I'm going to do a little bit more of this till I get it to where I want it to be. And it's fun. It's like everything I do, it's like an exploration. I'm just trying something out. I'm going to see what happens. And yeah, it's also softened it a little bit because I've broken up the surface. But as with all these things, it's knowing how much to do and when to stop. So I think I'm going to stop there because I don't want to get rid of all the paper. So scraping off the surface, that was kind of the easy bit. Now I'm doing the more challenging bit of making some choices as to exactly what I'm going to put on and how it's going to develop. And I think because it's really scary, I'm going to have to just start with something. And I was thinking, well, I'll start with some of the paler colours. We'll just get the dark things out of the way. I'm going to start with some of these paler, goldeny, greyish tones perhaps. And then just see where they take me. See how I want to create seed heads with these yarns. I've also got some threads here which I quite like. This one's particularly nice. And I might do some stitching from the other side possibly. It's quite thick this, but I'm sure I'll be able to do it. So let's see what we're going to do. Ooh, it's a bit there, that's the wrong colour. Where's that come from? It's an escapee from somewhere. I'm kind of happy with the background now. I love the way all these little bits just peep through, and it would be lovely. You could just keep it as it is and just have it as a lovely, I don't know, it's just a piece of fabric, isn't it? It's created this gorgeous textured background. And I've been thinking about how to do these bits, what colours to do with these bits, you know, what shapes, how am I going to do it? No. Okay, so I've made these little teeny weeny little samples. I just used a bit of stabiliser, a bit of curtain interlining, a bit of calico, just to give me some idea, because I was kind of getting a bit stuck and I didn't really know where I was going to go with this piece, because it's almost like it's so beautiful, I really don't want to wreck it, if you know what I mean. I love it just as it is, it's absolutely gorgeous, but it does need something else on it, really, unless you're just going to have it as wallpaper. So I've done this, and I've done a little bit of stitching where I've done some stitching from behind, just to see whether I can make this yarn be couched down. Now this yarn is too thick to couch down, but this yarn I can actually couch down by stitching it from underneath. Okay, and I showed that in a recent video. What I do to stitch from underneath is I use, if I'm using thick threads, I wind the thick thread or the yarn. You can just wind it onto a bobbin and you pop it into a bobbin case, but what I do is I keep a bobbin case just for doing thick threads, so I don't have to fiddle with the tension. If you're going to change the tension on your bobbin case, you undo the little screw thing here, the little screw, but I never touch the one that I use all the time because I would never get it back to the tension. I would, you know, I would get it back to. So I don't fiddle with that one. I keep this separate case and then I just put in there the yarns I'm going to stitch from underneath. So it might be sort of just some thicker thread like this. Or as I say, I was experimenting. This yarn ran quite smoothly. You have to make sure you put it into the bobbin case as you would normally, and you have to make sure that the yarn will actually move. And this was just too thick, this one. The golden one was fine. That ran quite nicely. But so I'm not quite sure whether I'm stitching from behind or in front, but for this yarn, which is just this one that I just untwizzled, okay, ooh, hang on, I just kind of untwizzled it from here and just used one strand, and I tried just, you know, kind of bobbling it up a little bit. I just kind of went like this and stitched it down, and that was the same. That was less stitching, that was more stitching. And then I tried doing it like this to try and make it look more like the seed heads I'm thinking of, and I thought, well, actually I quite like that. It's quite spiky, and if I bring down this is what I do, is if I'm making a sample, I will put it onto whatever it is I'm trying to look at, and then I will see what I feel like and if anything appeals to me. So I'm thinking I think the way to go with this is just to start. I'm just going to start with making some of these, and if I hate it, I hate it. okay, but I just feel I've got to get started, otherwise nothing else is going to show up for me. I don't want to make them into these shapes. I want to make them into this sort of, it's almost like a conifer shape, isn't it? And just see what happens. I know that they are on, you know, you usually get lots of strands of them, don't you? So we'll see how it goes, but I'm going to make a start. Okay, so this is me at my sewing machine. I've got it set up for free machine embroidery, and I am just going to start putting some of this on here, and I'm going to see what's going to happen. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, okay? I'm not in control. I'm just going to play and find my scissors, that is. Get my scissors and pull that a little bit, because I don't want to be in control of this, and I'm trying too hard with it. So I'm just going to play and see what's going to happen. And it might be a disaster, but I'm willing to take the risk. I'm just going to stitch this piece down with a straight stitch. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm just going to go boom like this. Ooh, just move my basket out of the way. I'm still trying to find out how I'm doing this, guys. This new filming, it's kind of difficult because I had it all set up before and I knew exactly what I was doing. So this is all experimental along with everything else. It's all an unknown. I'll just snip that off. I'm excited to see where it's going to take me, because I was just going to do umbles and I thought, that's all right, but I always do umbles. Let's do something different. Let's have something a bit different going on here. So, and I think these are quite fun. These gorgeous pieces. I'm just thinking, well, actually, let's just put this on here. I might add some onto the top of that one. Let's just do it as though, and I've got to leave enough room for the cross pieces. So already it's beginning to tell me how to do it. It's saying, now just turn that one round. I might have to roll this in a little bit. Now take that one up. Now take that one up and do it like that, you see. Now I hadn't thought of that. That's just come to me as I've done it. And I'm not trying to make it exactly like nature, but I am just trying to feel what might come. We'll see. We'll see what might come. If I just do some of this. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll do some cross pieces on these bits now, and we'll see where that takes us as well. Okay, so all I've done so far is just done some little cross snippety bits. So I've just put a piece on there and stitched it across. So it's all a bit rough and ready. It may or may not look like anything it's supposed to look like, but actually I quite like it. It's quite dramatic, it's a little bit different, and I'm just wondering whether I do some more kind of pieces just coming up like this, because when you look at the thing I'm thinking of, which is the dock seeds, they do this kind of lovely sweeping, have this beautiful sweeping quality, don't they, where they kind of all layer up and sweep up. And so I'm going to play around with it a bit more and we'll just see where it takes us. I think less is more as usual, and I'm going to go over these bits to do some more stitching on them. This is really just getting a rough shape down, but already I'm quite liking it. It's a bit different, and there's no going back. That's it. I am committed to whatever this is going to be. So that's quite exciting in itself. Or scary, one or the other, possibly both. Snipping off all my little loose ends here where I've joined up the stitching on my machine, which helps to make it look a lot neater. And it's really interesting this, because it's not at all what I thought I was going to be stitching it like. It's not quite how I thought it was going to be, but I rather like it as a dramatic shape on this quite busy background, if you like. I know it's monochrome, but it has got quite a busy quality to it because it's very textured. So I don't know about you, but I quite like how that is quite a strong, dramatic seed head. I don't know what it's a seed head of. Who knows? I've just invented something. It's kind of brackeny, isn't it? It's kind of got a brackeny thing. It was supposed to be dock-like, but it's just not gone that way. So I quite like that anyway. So I'm thinking next, what's going to be next? Well, I might do something really dramatic again with this lovely dark yarn, and I'm feeling that what I want to do is then put this golden sort of colour on top as the foreground kind of interest. So, but I think that's sufficient for today because I need to go away and have a little think about it, and I will see you again in my studio next time in my little creative corner in the living room, or will I be somewhere else by then? Who knows? I'm looking forward to it, and I will see you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me here. Bye for now.